Alright guys, so today we're on Unit 3, Lesson 5, and we're going to cover a couple things, and kind of like we did in Unit 2, Unit 3 adds to the lesson as we go along. And so a couple of rules that we have here. The first one is parallel. Through a point not on a line, there is one and only one point parallel to a line. And we know that based on the construction that we did yesterday on parallel lines, you can only create one parallel line through a point that's not on a line. The rule that we have is the sum of the measures of the angles of a triangle is always 180. And you guys have already told me that you know this. So let's talk about how, if we're given a picture with two triangles, we can figure out the missing angle measures. In this triangle, we have two of the angle measures. Since the sum of angles in a triangle is 180, we can go ahead and figure out how much angle 1 is worth. And we just add 82 and 28 and subtract it from 180 in order to get our missing angle measure of 70. Now, what do we do to find angle 2 and 3? Hopefully you're saying we use vertical. 1 is vertical to 2, so therefore angle 2 is also 70 degrees. And now, since we know that, we can figure out how many degrees angle 3 would be. We add 70 and 68 together, subtract it from 180, and that's going to give us the value of angle 3. And so when we do that, we find 2 degrees. So a real simple way to find missing angle measures when you don't have necessarily all the information. You take what you do have and you find the missing information. Since you did that, what I want you to do now is pause the video and I want you to try this one. Okay? Same process, just go ahead and try that one. When you unpause the video, you will have the answer. Okay, so hopefully you were able to add these two together, and then you realize that this missing angle here is 63 degrees. You took the 63 vertical, you added these two together and subtracted from 180, and got 38. All right. So then we have a rule about exterior angle, okay? And so we know what exterior means. It means outside. So the rule of exterior angles is that the measure of an exterior angle is equal to the sum of the measures of the two other interior angles. So in this case, we're going to start with angle 1 because angle 1 is outside of this triangle right here. Now, there are two ways that we could do this. We could figure out this angle to figure out angle 1. But what's easier than even that is that we can take these two angles and add them together, and we automatically know what angle 1 is. Okay? And since this is a straight line, we also know what angle 2 is. So we can use the same principle to help us out with angle 4 and angle 3. Since this is a straight line, angle 4 is 60 degrees. Because of vertical, this angle is 60 degrees. And now we can find out angle 3. Angle 3 is 68 degrees. Now again, when you get to angle 5, you can make two choices. You can add these up and subtract from 180 to get this angle, and then realize that this is a straight line and subtract from 180 again, or you could just add these two. And so angle 5 is 116. Okay. So now that you've done that, I want you to try this example here at the bottom. What I want you to remind you of is you're going to start with angle 1 in this case. And then you'll be able to find angle 2. Then you'll be able to find angle 3. When you get to angle 4, you're going to have to make a decision. These three angles together make a straight line. So whatever angle 3 is, you're going to add that to 32 and subtract from 180. And that's how you find angle 4. And then when you get done with that, you go ahead and find angle 5. So I want you to pause the video and try this on your own. When you unpause it, I'm going to show you the steps to how to find the answers. Okay, hopefully you tried to find these on your own, but we'll do these really quick in case you can double check your answer and then also talk about how you found your answer. Angle 1 is 70 degrees. All I did was add 32 and 38. And so since angle 1 is 70 degrees, I know that this angle is 70 degrees. That's going to help us out with angle 3. Since this angle is 70 degrees, I know that angle 2 is 110. So I'm good with this triangle. I could put that there if I wanted to. I could find out this if I wanted to, but I don't have to. I'm good with this. Now I need to find angle 3. I add 70 and 64, subtract that from 180, and I get 180 minus 134, which is 46. Now, in order to find angle 4, like I talked about before you paused it, you have to remember that this is a straight line. And so since this is a straight line, I'm going to take 32 plus 46 and subtract it from 180. And I end up with 102. Now to find angle 5, I do 102 plus 41, subtract that from 180, and I get 37. Okay. In our next example, we're given 3 algebraic statements. And it fits all 3 angles of this triangle. So what is true about x, 2x plus 4, and 2x minus 9? Hopefully, you just said when I add them all together, they equal to 180. Because that's what happens. So I'm going to write this out. And just like we talked about in Unit 2, I'm going to use the substitution property by putting like terms together. And I'm going to go ahead and solve for x. Now, you need to take it one step further. Go ahead and plug in that x so that you can find the measure of the 3 angles. And as you're checked to make sure you did it right, all 3 angles, when added together, should equal 180 once I plug that x back in and solve. And sure enough, 78 plus 65 plus 37 does equal 180 degrees. Sometimes you have to draw a picture in order to solve information. And so in this case, we have the ratio of the angle measures of the acute angles in a right triangle is 1 to 2. So we draw our right triangle, and we know that this angle is 90 degrees. The measure of the 2 other angles are x and 2x. And how I found that was the fact that this is 1 and this is 2. And so now I can do some algebra. X plus 2x is going to have to equal what? X plus 2x plus 90 is going to equal 180, right? So then when I do these, I get 3x plus 90 is equal to 180. 3x is equal to 90, which we knew that x and 2x together had to equal 90. So x is equal to 30. And so this angle is 30 degrees, and this angle is 60 degrees. And I have myself a triangle. What I want you to try to do is draw a picture to meet these 3 statements. When you pause the video, and then when you're done, I'll show you what the picture should look like. Then we'll pause it and you'll solve it. But just right now, try to draw a picture for these 3. Okay. So hopefully you were able to draw a triangle with one angle as 40 and the other angles as 3x plus 4x. So in order to solve this, we're going to do 3x plus 4x plus 40 equals 180. As the last part of your homework, go ahead and solve for x and tell me the values of the other 2 angles. In number 3, we get the measure of one angle is 115 and the other 2 angles are congruent. So they're both x and x. So in order to solve this one, we're going to do x plus 115 is equal to 180. Go ahead and solve for x and tell me the measure of those 2 angles. Now, in this one, we get in a little bit of a conundrum because we're not really sure what to put here because they're not the same. And so you deal with this whole issue of x plus y plus 21 degrees is equal to 180. But is the question asking us about just x and y? No, it's asking us about x and y together. So you can solve this. And what I want to see is if you can figure out what I mean and if that's the answer. And we'll check this when we go over the notes tomorrow in class. So go ahead and, solve these three. That's what I'll be checking to see that you attempted them. And that'll be your credit for doing the notes for this section. Any questions on how we use algebra and triangles and parallel lines? Come see me before class. Otherwise, be ready for some good discussion and show me what you know about parallel lines and triangles.